Nearly 25 years after Maximus' final stand in the Colosseum, Gladiator Part 2 steps into the arena of one of cinema's most revered epics. But can lightning strike twice, or is the sequel destined to fall on its own sword? Stick around for my answer in this spoiler-free breakdown review. "16 years after Maximus' death, Lucius Verus, now living as Hanno in Numidia, is enslaved by General Marcarinus Achaeus after a Roman invasion. Forced into gladiatorial combat, Lucius seeks vengeance for the death of his wife in Rome. Achaeus is celebrated as a war hero while the twin emperors Geta and Caracalla plan quests and host grand gladiatorial games. Lucius rises through the ranks of the Colosseum. His Roman education and combat skills draw attention. His mother Lucilla recognizes him as her son and imperial heir, sparking a tense reunion. Amid betrayal, rebellion, and political machinations, Lucius uncovers the truth about his lineage and joins forces with the gladiators to challenge Rome's corrupt leadership. Clad in Maximus' armor, Lucius leads a revolt seeking justice and redemption. Overall, I believe the plot of the film could have been more clear and concise to the audience. The film has a plot that you would have to watch more than once to get all the nuances of it. For the plot of the film, I give it a 7 out of 10. Gladiator gets the story badge. Development on Gladiator 2 began in 2001 but faced delays due to the creative differences, and DreamWorks sale to Paramount in 2006. Early scripts explored themes ranging from Lucius Verus' parentage to Maximus' resurrection, including a controversial draft by Nick Cave involving deities and historical battles. Progress stalled until 2017 when Ridley Scott resolved plot issues and Paramount greenlit the sequel in 2018. The story focused on Lucius as an adult, was refined to include political chaos under the emperors Caracalla and Geta. Paul Mescal was cast as Lucius in 2023 after Scott was impressed by his performance in Normal People. The cast also includes Denzel Washington as Marcarinus, Joseph Quinn as Emperor Geta, and Pedro Pascal, among others. Returning crew members from the original film included production design author Max and costume designer Janty Yates. Mescal and Pascal underwent intense gladiator training, with Mescal gaining 18 pounds of muscle for the role. Filming began in June 2023 in Morocco, Malta, in the UK. Challenges included a fire accident that injured 6 crew members and delays due to the Hollywood labor strikes. Notably, a lifelike rhinoceros created a 3D printing featuring in a key battle sequence. Production wrapped in January 2023, with Malta providing a record-breaking $47 million in subsidies, marking it as the largest state aid for a film in EU history. I like how the film came together. Gladiator 2 gets the Genesis badge. For the most part, I thought the film was nice and enjoyable experience. Epics aren't really my go-to genre, and they seem to be pretty rare to make, so it was important to me that I watch this one. I'm not sure about lightning striking twice with this film, but I do see it doing well overall with the general public and to legacy fans. I would say the film is definitely worth the watch. Overall enjoyment, 7 out of 10. Gladiator 2 snags the amusement badge. If I'm being honest, the film left me feeling a bit hollow after it was all said and done. I really didn't have an emotional attachment to any of the characters, and I felt indifferent to pretty much all of them. The action scenes were done extremely well and made me feel intense, but not too anxious either. For emotional impact, 6 out of 10. Paul Mescal as Lucius Verus, Hanno, the son of Maximus, who was taken as the gladiator after his home is invaded seeking revenge against the Romans, particularly General Achaeus. Spencer Track Clark reprises his role as young Lucius in flashbacks. Pedro Pascal as Marcus Achaeus, a disillusioned Roman general who trained under Maximus and is married to Lucilla. After invading Lucius's home, he becomes a gladiator, symbolizing everything Lucius hates. Connie Nielsen as Lucilla, Lucius's mother and Maximus' former lover. She watches Lucius fight in the Colosseum but does not immediately recognize him. She is feared and exploited by those in power. Nielsen reprises her role from the original film. Denzel Washington as Marcarinus, a former slave turned gladiator and arms dealer who plans to control Rome. He mentors Lucius and harbors ambitions to become emperor. Maximus is depicted as cruel with hints of bisexuality in his character. Joseph Quinn as Emperor Gita, the Emperor of Rome, alongside his brother Caracalla. Quinn draws inspiration from Philip Seymour Hoffman's role in Mission Impossible 3 and Gary Oldman's character in The Fifth Element. Fred Henchinger as Emperor Caracalla, the other co-emperor of Rome, who exhibits erratic behavior due to cognitive issues. He has a pet monkey, which serves as part of the character's crazed nature. Luar Ross as Vigo, a former gladiator and trainer of Macarena's fighters. Vigo is a tough, no-nonsense character who leads the gladiators to their fights. There's a slew of other characters and actresses in this film, of course, but these were the main actors in their characters. I thought that everyone did an incredible job. The performances came together very well on screen. For characters and performances, 8 out of 10. Gladiator 2 takes the ensemble badge. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. It's a quote you'll hear a few times watching the film. There's a lot of dialogue throughout that seemed very poetic in nature. I'm not really sure how the ancients spoke in their time, but I do believe the screenwriter David Scarpa did his best to capture the syntax of that time. For writing and dialogue, I give the film a 7.5 out of 10. Gladiator 2 gets the pen and pad badge. This is the fourth film I've seen of director Ridley Scott, the first being American Gangster of 2007, House of Gucci in 2021, and I'm almost embarrassed to say that I only recently saw the original Gladiator movie. And when I say recently, I literally mean this week so I can be in preparation of this film. I thought the direction of the film was done good, but not great. It's very difficult to direct an epic, so I give Mr. Scott the credit for putting his best foot forward. For direction, I give the film a 7.5 out of 10. The Captain badge belongs to Mr. Scott. If you're enjoying this review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Film Scout. I post detailed reviews of films from psychological horrors to sci-fis and everything in between. Your engagement really helps the channel grow and keeps these reviews coming. Opening graphics were incredible. There are some flashbacks of the previous film. The graphics were given a stop-motion format as the credits were rolling. Very cool, very creative. The CGI of the boats and the sea could have been better. Too obvious that it was CGI, along with the weapons used and the animals depicted. A film like this should have been dedicated to practical effects, not CGI in my opinion. I thought the overall depiction of ancient Rome was great. I really enjoyed Greco-Roman architecture. The film really does capture the atmosphere of what ancient Rome could have been like. For cinematography and visuals, I give the film an 8 out of 10. Gladiator 2 is handed over the aesthetics badge. I felt the film was well paced and smooth throughout watching. I thought the editing could have been a bit more seamless, but I did like some of the flashback scenes that were placed in the film alongside visions of the afterlife the main character was having. A plot point borrowed from the original film. For pacing and editing, 7 out of 10. The Flow badge has been awarded. In January 2024, it was revealed that Harry Gregson Williams would be composing the score of Gladiator 2, stepping in for Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard, who scored the original film. Zimmer chose not to return, stating that he didn't want to revisit the past work. However, he expressed confidence in Gregson Williams, noting that the film was in really good hands, given Gregson Williams' background as his former assistant. For the sequel, Gregson Williams created 100 minutes of original music, while also incorporating some music cues from Zimmer and Gerrard's iconic score in the first film. Great music throughout. I felt Mr. Gregson Williams composed great epic music. The sounds of the weapons used and drawn were sharp and sounded real. For sound and music, 9 out of 10. Gladiator sings its way to the soundscape badge. Gladiator 2 seems to continue its predecessor's exploration of brutal realities of power, revenge, and legacy, while also expanding on themes of identity, psychological conflict, and the moral cost of ambition. The story seems to focus on personal struggle, both external as a gladiator and internal as a son and a man seeking justice, as well as societal and personal consequences of revenge and violence. For themes and messages, 8 out of 10. Gladiator 2 gets the inside badge. Gladiator 2 is the first epic I've seen in theaters this year. There was another epic that came out earlier this year called Megalopolis. I remember that movie being a box office bomb, which is why I stayed away from it in the first place. I believe that Gladiator 2 will definitely be better received than Megalopolis by far. Gladiator 2 snacks the reflection badge. Gladiator 2 is being released alongside Wicked this weekend, and unfortunately I don't see it topping the box office. I really wish either or would have came out next week apart from each other, but no one wants to compete with Mona 2 next week, which is understandable. So no crown badge for Gladiator 2, but maybe next weekend. While I didn't enjoy the film as much as I would have hoped, I do believe the film is worth getting a third and final installment. Hopefully it won't take another 24 years to happen. Gladiator 2 gets the time badge. In conclusion, I give Gladiator a 7.6 out of 10. That wraps up my review for Gladiator 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Till next time, this is the Film Scout signing off. Peace.